Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, October 20th, 2021. If you are watching this, if you're watching this live and you haven't checked your calendars, if you're watching the replay, then welcome, and hopefully it's later today. If not, now you have a point of reference. Something exciting happening in the Stampin' Up! World today. It is a 24-hour sale where all the red rubber stamp sets from the annual catalog are 15% off. There is, I sent out an email last night, and if you haven't received it, you definitely want to, it's really early. I think 9 o'clock is a little too early for me my brain to be working, and I've only had one cup of coffee. But what I was going to say is, if you haven't received an email, you're not on my email list, then you definitely want to, get on my email list and just, put in the comments, send me a message with your email. And then I will get you added to my list. So, okay. I seem like I'm better today than I was last week because technology is working for me, but I'm still trying to get to the point where I am seeing comments. So I'm not seeing comments right now. So if you're here, oh, I have comments. Yay! I figured it out. So good morning, Gail. Good morning, Jennifer. How are you ladies today? If you are here watching live, then let me know you're here, because a lot of times, and I'm going to blame it on Facebook this time, that Facebook doesn't always let me know who's here. So, do you ladies have your catalog out? Are you following along with me on page 170? Because that's the page we're working on today. So page 170 is all the way in the back of the catalog. One of the reasons I loved this page is because of the different color combinations. And that's where I kind of struggle the most. Not really the most, but I struggle with trying to find color combinations that are a little bit different and stretch me beyond what I really enjoy. My favorite color combinations are mostly from the Brights collections. What color combinations do you guys like? What color family do you like? Are you a Brights, Subtles? Are you more the neutrals, the basics, the regals? I think I have them all covered. Or do your taste palettes or your color palettes taste change with the new in colors every year? So I'd love to know. The card I'm going to be making for you is this one. And I actually took inspiration from this. And what I did is I wanted to pull in, it's the Granny Apple Green. And I am using the In Good Taste Designer Series paper, soft suede, and basic white. And one of the reasons I chose this card, and I'll tell you what inspired me as I go along and I build the card. But I wanted to use a couple of the stamp sets that are actually... Okay, I'm not sure if I'm back. For some reason, my phone glitched a little bit. So I am using the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set, but the greeting is actually from Positive Thoughts. So friends like you mean more every year. And I have a friend that took me out for my birthday on Saturday. Oh my gosh, time is flying. So she took me out for breakfast, and it was just one of those casual get-togethers, and we realized that we hadn't seen each other in over a year, with the exception of one main event that we didn't get really time to spend together. But it's really important to kind of continue those friendships, no matter how much time passes, and just, sending a little card in the mail just to brighten someone's day is really important. And that's one of the reasons why I do what I do, and I love what I do, is just being able to put a smile on somebody's face. So we have Positive Thoughts, Butterfly Brilliance, both are on sale, 15% off. Butterfly Brilliance is on sale for $14.45. Positive Thoughts is on sale for $17.85. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. All right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to put this, kind of fold this up. and put it a little bit out of the way so we can reference it. And I'll pull in my card kit here. So I have basically everything cut. I am starting with the Granny Apple Green cardstock. It is 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. And I'm gonna pull out my bone folder so that I can give it a nice sharp crease. It's kind of loud. Oh my goodness. All right, and this paper from In Good Taste, I actually like, and when I originally cut it, I was going to do the card basically kind of like this one. That was originally my inspiration, even though I like the colors from this card. I was thinking about doing it portrait, and that's why I had the orientation going this way, where the schmear is going kind of horizontally. So I changed my mind on that, going vertically, going along with this card in the middle. One of the things I liked about this is it has kind of a frame effect. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can bring it a little bit closer. It's actually cut or slit in the corners. So I did that with my card, if you can see. So it's there. And how I did it, it is a little bit complicated, but I will show you. Let me get my paper trimmer. It's the one thing I did not have handy. I don't think I'm not going to cut it this time, but I just wanted to show you what I did, just so you know, and you can try it if you decide to make this card for yourself, or try this on something else. Basically what I did is I took the designer series paper, and this designer series paper is 4 by 5 1/4. So I just came down 1/4 of an inch, and I just lined up the points so it's in this channel. And then obviously I'm not going to do it, but you just cut it this way. And then you can rotate it, both pieces together, which is what I did. And then just line it up again, the points and the channels, and then just cut it again. One of the reasons I'm not going to do it is because it is kind of time consuming, but I think well worth it, to actually line it up on your paper and getting the triangles lined up. Once you do that, then you can take one at a time, add your adhesive, and then put it down so that it is done. All right, but like I said, I'm not going to do that this time, but if you'd like me to try it, then comment, let me know what you think. All right, so at this point we're going to I did get refills of my Stampin' Seal. I don't know if you were with me last week, but I ran out and I had to use something else. I think it was the liquid, multi-purpose liquid glue, which I love, but I don't use it on my cards very often. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put that down like this, burnish it, put it aside, and then now we are going to work on this piece, which is the layer that goes onto the soft suede. And I had a piece, there we go. So I couldn't find my my grid paper. I have a stash of it, and I think I left it in the house, so I just grabbed the nearest thing and went ahead and folded an old piece of grid paper in half, and I'm using that. I don't throw grid paper away. If I use both sides, I fold it. Just if it has glue on it, I fold the piece of paper and I use it as much as possible. And when it's no longer usable, then I recycle it if I can. So these are the colors that I'm using today: Soft Suede, Calypso Coral, Granny Apple Green, Balmy Blue, and Bumblebee. So I'm going to take Granny Apple Green and Balmy Blue. Probably should have opened these ahead of time, but yeah, I didn't, so there. And I do need to, they do get stuck a little bit, and someone said candle wax works. also a little bit of Vaseline, so I'm going to try that. All right, and then I have my blending brushes, and oh my gosh, I love these things. They're just, to add a little subtle pop of color, it's so much fun. So that goes there, that goes there. And this is what I do with the colors. If you want something very subtle, don't like mush your brush into it. Just tap it a little bit and then tap it off. And then you're going to start off of the cardstock and you're going to rotate in and just go in circular motions. And you can go back and forth. And then if you need to add a little bit more ink, you can tap, kind of get the excess off, and then come in from the other side. So I don't want to put a lot of color onto it, onto this piece of cardstock, but I do want a little bit more, and just kind of coming in from the side. It does get a little bit heavy, but that's okay. I think I had a heavy piece or a heavy spot with the Balmy Blue in my original card, and I covered it up with a butterfly. So keep in mind, there are no mistakes in stamping or in card making and crafting, really. It's just, it's art is what it is. And you make it your own and you kind of go with it. So this is the Balmy Blue. This one is a lighter color, so I tend to go a little bit heavier on this one and bring it in. But you get the idea. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. And I didn't start off because I wanted to get more color in the center. So there you go. Yeah, looks good. So you can see the difference. It doesn't look like a lot of color on it, but when you move the basic white off, then you can see. All right, now we're going to close this up and we're going to get we're going to move this aside because we don't need it right now. But we are going to move on to Stamparatus and the Butterfly Brilliance stamp. So I tend to put either an ink pad or a stamp case under here just to give it a little bit more of a solid work or surface so I can color. And this is the Bumblebee that I'm bringing in. Now, I'm going to ink this all over using the ink pad, and then I'm going to add color afterwards, and I'll show you what I'm going to do or how I'm going to do that. Always start with your lightest color first because it's easier to cover up the lighter color than to cover up a darker color. And then when you go in to use your lighter color, then it kind of muddles it a little bit, your ink pad, and then you kind of have to scrape it off, re-ink, do it again. So it's just, you know, one of those things that it's better to start with light. Okay, I'm bringing in Calypso Coral, and I am bringing in Granny Apple Green. And I have these little sponge daubers. These things are amazing. I love them. I used to have one for every color, and then I stopped using them. So I just, now is a green. So I just kind of, you know, clean them off and then just dab it into the ink and then decide where you want to put them. So if you want to put a little bit of green on the outside here, I'm not really planning where I put the color. I'm just kind of putting it wherever I see that I want to put, you know, some color. So let's do that. And then on the edge here. All right. And then we have Calypso Coral. And then I want to add a little bit of Calypso Coral in the center of that on the wings of this one. And you can see I'm not being careful. I'm just kind of daubing it on. I'm just going to do this, leave his body open. Let me see. All right, perfect. So we've got that, and we'll move these out of the way. And I'm moving them far enough, even though I'm not closing them right now, so I won't get anything, I won't stick my fingers in it, so because that happens. Now I'm using basically a 1/4 sheet of paper. I know that the butterfly stamp, and I love that it's all one stamp, it's going to be cut off And that's okay, because if you look at my card, I actually use that to my advantage, and I put the cut off butterflies on the edge, so it makes it look like, you know, it was meant to be that way. But then I also put some that are hanging off the edge, so it just kind of, you know, gives it a little bit, I think, balance, or just a little bit more interest. All right, so we are going to close it on the paper, and I'm going to bring it over. It's one of the reasons I didn't choose, or I didn't specifically place this, because I wanted to be able to kind of get an idea of which butterflies I wanted whole and which ones I wanted cut off. So let's go with that. And that's the one thing I love about the Stamparatus, is that you get really good coverage. You don't have to use a Stamparatus. Stampin' Up! Does have a clear acrylic block that you can use instead, but the Stamparatus is very functional. So, and this is why. There's some holes right here. So obviously I didn't push down there, so I can push the ink into the paper, and voila. I love the Stamparatus. Okay, so we're gonna move this. I will clean it later. I feel like I'm on a cooking show when I say that. I just kind of like drop it. All right, so I am also using, there are dies that go with the Brilliant, the Butterfly Brilliant stamp set. They're called the Brilliant Wings dies. Right now it is sold as a bundle in the annual catalog. I did a little bit of price comparison, and I wondered if it was a better deal to buy the bundle, or if it was a better deal to buy the stamp set that's 15% off separate from the dies. Well, it's actually a better deal to buy the bundle. So if you bought the bundle, it's $54.75. If you bought it separately with the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set, on sale for $14.45, regularly $17. And then the dies are $44. That comes out to $58.45. So you're saving, you know, like what, $3 something. So I think it's definitely a better deal to actually get the bundle if this is something that you want to add to your list. So let me see if I can bring my Big Shot in. It's kind of big. I'm using the big one because it's a bigger die. And then go ahead and put the butterflies down. Again, knowing that I'm going to be cutting off some of the butterflies, but that's okay because we'll use them. And just put this on. Now, you can put washi tape or a Post-it note. I generally don't, and I'm okay with a little bit of extra white, but I'm still gonna push this in because I can always trim it up later, but I don't worry too much about having it not perfect. All right, so we'll put this big guy away. I love that he can just fold up, clonk, clonk, clonk. Move this over here. All right, and we have butterflies. All right, I actually have some butterflies left over from the first card, so I can bring those in as well. And it looks like I have a plethora of butterflies. Let's go ahead and finish building this part. Move the butterflies out of the way and use some Stampin' Seal. Okay, and I think I've asked this. Oh, I was so glad you liked the butterflies. Yep, I love being able to daub the color on there so that you don't have to take the time. You can also use Stampin' Write markers and do it that way as well. But that, I think that takes a little bit more time. And I love the whimsy of the color on the butterflies if you're just doing it that way. Okay, always check and see where your card is so that you know the green does not go on top. The green goes on the bottom because it's supposed to replicate grass, and the blue is to replicate the sky. If you want to do it upside down, that is absolutely fine. Okay with me if you do that. And what this card is missing is dimensionals. I know, I love my dimensionals. We talk about it every week. I think one of these days I'm going to add up how many dimensionals I use in a year. Maybe not even in a year, but just how many do I use in a week? That would be kind of fun. You know what? Maybe I'll make that as a little, you know, kind of guess how many jelly beans are in the jar. Guess how many dimensionals I've used. That would take a lot to keep track of, but that would be fun. Just for kicks and giggles, how many dimensionals do you think I make, or when I make my cards, how many dimensionals do you think I use in a given week? If let's say I'm making 10 cards in the week, how many do you think are going to be, how many dimensionals do you think I'm going to use? So I'll let you think about that for a moment. All right, so now what we're going to do is stamp our greeting. And I am using the Friends Like You Mean More Every Year, because I have friends that do, like, oh my gosh, all my friends do mean more to me every year, and I appreciate them so much. And I am stamping off towards the left. And just kind of hold it there just to let the ink seep into the paper. Yeah, this is early. 9 o'clock is really early for me. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put adhesive on it. And, oh, this, you know what, let me give you the dimensions. So the designer series paper is 5 1/4 by 4. The soft suede is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. And the basic white here is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And then this piece for the sentiment was actually a scrap, but it worked out really well. And it is 4 1/4 by 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up on the edge, kind of in the upper part of the card. And then that way I can bring in my butterflies. Now, if you see, this butterfly got cut off in 2 different angles. This butterfly is kind of, I can even put him over here, but he's covering the sentiment. So I actually like him here, kind of hanging off a little bit on the bottom, but I do like him aligned to the side. So I'm going to put him there. And I'm only going to put the adhesive kind of towards the middle. And the reason I'm doing that is because if I want to tuck something else under there, I don't have to peel it up. So let's go ahead and make sure, yep, that looks good right there. Let's see if we have another little butterfly we can put. See, I can tuck that right there, have him kind of hanging off the edge. Yeah, I like him there. So let's, again, just go in the middle. You don't need a lot of adhesive. They will stay on. The Stampin' Seal is pretty strong. Nope. Actually, let me do this. I like the fact that they would be kind of intertwined. So let's do that. He's on top there, but maybe poke one of his antenna under there. What do you think? I like it. All right, so then we have another little butterfly. It might be too big. So let's try this little guy right here. Oh, I like him. Nope, he's too small. All right, so we're gonna go back to this big guy. And I'm gonna use dimensionals. Going back to dimensionals. Yeah, Jennifer, a lot of dimension. Yes, you know me well. Okay, so I put, let's see, 6, 7, 8 on this layer. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is 12. And if I send out 10 cards a week or make 10 cards a week based on like just this, that's 120 dimensionals, isn't it? Yeah, that's a lot, but that's okay. I love it. All right, so we are going to put this here. So he's kind of hanging off a little bit. There. There. Not completely straight, but just kind of, like I said, whimsical. All right, now, you know how I feel about bling. I love bling. I think every card needs something a little bit extra. These are the Genial Gems. Genial. I'm not sure how to pronounce them. I'm going to say Genial. So this card, I originally had 3. I had 1, 2, 3. I thought, oh, it just doesn't do it for me. For some reason, it just didn't look balanced. So what I did is I added a couple more, and I thought it really balanced it out really nicely. So I'm going to do the same thing here, but I'm going to put them in different places just to kind of see. And I'll put this one maybe on the edge of that, kind of blend the sentiment piece into the card. And I have maybe right here. You want to do groups of 3, just because 3 gives it, you want to do it in triangles. So I can do that. See, to me, that doesn't look like enough. What do you guys think? Do you think it needs more? Do you think it needs... I do. You know what? I'm not going to wait for you to answer. I'm just going to put more on here. So I think I'll put another one here. No, I'm going to do it down here. I'm going to do the green towards the bottom, and then I'm going to do the yellow ones towards the top. I am like really struggling with where to put this one. That's pretty, but I think I want to put this one over there then. I think that's better. What do you think? Yeah, maybe I want to do this. This is where the Take-A-Pick tool really comes in handy. So, but if you don't have it, these paper snips are awesome. There. All right. So there's the card. What do you think? I have this one where the jewels are just kind of off to the side, and I did cut the corners, or I cut them into 4 triangles, just so it emulated a frame a little bit more. This one, I just kind of scattered the gems a little bit more. I did not cut the designer series paper, but what do you think? Are there any, do you prefer one over the other? I will let you decide, and you can decide in the comments. I do want to show you a couple of other cards that I made using some of the sale, the stamp sets that are on sale. So the Dragonfly Garden is on sale right now. It is originally $23. It's on sale for $19.55. This is part of a bundle. Again, the bundle price is better than if you were to purchase the punch that coordinates with this and the stamp set on sale. So you're saving a couple dollars, but this is the card that I made using the Dragonfly Garden. And I love this card because I used all of the in colors for this year. And look, I even did the inside. What? So, and then I did use a little bit of neutral. This is, I want to say it's a gray color, smoky slate. I know. Oh my gosh. I don't know my grays as much. All right. This one is Enjoy the Moment. This one is on sale also for $19.55. It must have been a good year, 1955. Oh, it was a good year. Wasn't that the year that they opened Disneyland? So this is the card that I made. And I believe I did this on my first one of my Stamping Wednesday. So a little bit of a flashback there. And then I have this one all squared away. This one is also part of a bundle. Also $19.55 on sale from $23. The bundle is definitely a better value. The bundle comes with dies. And this is the card. And we made the card I made the card, I think it was last week. Nope, week before last on one of my Stamping Wednesday. I finally finished the card. I think it's cute. I love it. And I need someone to send it to. Wait, I found someone. My aunt, her birthday's tomorrow. So I will send it to her and hopefully she gets it on time. All right, that's it for me. Thank you so much for joining me on What Am I Stamping Wednesday. Oh, Jennifer, thank you. I'm glad you liked the cards. I had a lot of fun creating them. So, if you need a copy of the email that I sent, then just drop me a note. Let me know. I'll actually put a link to my newsletter in the comments. I'll also put a link to my store so you can see all of the stamp sets are 15% off. And it's only today, October 20th, 2021. All the red rubber stamp sets from the annual catalog are on sale. There is a list of them. The ones that, one exclusion is actually the Hostess stamp set, which can be found on, ironically, page 170. Hey, how about that? Anyway, hope everyone has a great Wednesday, a great week, and thank you for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.